Hey there, Alex here. This is the Vivo V15 Pro. I know it has been out for quite some time now, but I finally had the chance to try it out, so I'm here to share some of my quick thoughts on the phone. By the way, this is actually my first time using a phone from Vivo, so should be fun. The V15 Pro is actually quite a good looking phone. It has an eye-catching back panel, and I think the way they tie in the rear camera design with the pop-up front camera is a nice touch. It is a plastic body, which is a little disappointing, but it feels pretty solid with almost no flex on the back panel, and the case they've included in the box seems pretty decent. On the front, we're getting this almost bezel-less screen, which looks great for pretty much everything I do on the phone. The panel itself is not the brightest or the highest resolution, but it still looks really good to me. It's just a bit of a shame that it lacks Widevine L1 support, so no HD streaming on Netflix. Anyway, the V15 Pro has an optical fingerprint sensor underneath the screen, which works well enough for the most part. Still not as quick as a capacitive sensor, but it's fast enough and reliable enough. Specifications-wise, we have the Snapdragon 675 processor with a generous serving of RAM and storage, and a sizable 3700 mAh battery. Performance is pretty much as expected since mid-range chipsets are generally pretty good these days. I have no issues playing games on it, apps launches quickly, and for battery life, even with heavier usage, a day of use is easily achievable. On top of all that, it has a dedicated micro SD card slot on the side, a dual SIM slot at the bottom, a headphone jack up top, and it has NFC, so we can use Google Pay for public transport here in Singapore. The only downside here is the use of a micro USB port, which is quite disappointing to see in 2019. Software-wise, it's running FunTouch OS, which is a heavily customized skin on top of Android. I'm not really a huge fan of some of the iOS-like UI elements, but at least the software still feels pretty snappy. I'm not going to talk too much about the software since most Chinese manufacturers more or less has the same set of features. And I think the UI design is up to personal preference. Some people prefer stock Android, some prefer more features. But I do want to highlight how the built-in apps are still asking for more permissions than I think they need. I know it's the same for most Chinese manufacturers, but it's still a little weird that I need to give the Themes app permissions to my phone and contacts just to change the lock screen wallpaper. Anyway, it's running Android, so you could just replace a lot of those apps and even the launcher with other options. Vivo has always been sort of known for their selfie cameras. There's even a Mobile Legends skin called Vivo Selfie Goddess, so let's talk about that first. The 32-megapixel front camera on the V15 Pro is hidden in this pop-up mechanism, which Vivo says has been tested to work over 300,000 times without any glitches. Whether it's true or not, only time will tell. The only thing that I can talk about now is how it performs, and I have to say I'm not disappointed. It really does capture nice selfies. They have some AI beauty mode that seems to boost the saturation a bit too much, but I like the way it handles details, even in dimmer lighting conditions. Moving on to the rear cameras, which consist of a 48-megapixel main camera, which as far as I know is the Samsung GM1 sensor, an 8-megapixel wide-angle camera, and a depth sensor. First of all, let's just get this out of the way. It's not as good as the Pixel 3a for sure, but it is still a decent camera. The Auto HDR doesn't always trigger when I want it to, but overall, I've been able to get good images out of this camera. The wide-angle camera is pretty fun too, even though the quality really isn't that great. In low light, it's pretty much unusable. But regular shots from the main camera is pretty decent in low light, and the night mode actually works quite well. Overall, it's not the best camera around even in its price bracket, but it's nice enough. So all things considered, I do think that if you don't really care about things like app permissions, the software, or USB-C, it's still a pretty decent phone to use. The screen is really nice, the camera is decent, performance is good enough, battery life is pretty good, and it has enough unique features to make it stand out. However, I just feel like current prices are a little bit too high. Back when it first came out, it was one of the first more affordable options if you wanted a phone with a truly bezel-less screen, so it might have been worth having a couple of trade-offs. But at this point in time, it's not the only good option anymore. Thanks for watching my quick review of the Vivo V15 Pro. If you have enjoyed it, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more content in the future. Thanks again, and see you guys on the next one.